Welcome to Toni Unleashed, the podcast where we unleash the truth about all things pets.
Our research and anecdotal evidence matched with pet expert interviews will help you help your pet thrive.
We are here to answer questions, divulge information, and spread awareness about what's really going on in the world of pets.
I am your co-host, Emily Taylor, pet nutrition enthusiast.
And I'm Toni Shalaski, owner of Healthy Pet Products with 3 locations in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and recently expanded to Port Charlotte, Florida. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Toni Unleashed, the podcast. Today we are talking about picky eaters. We get customers that are constantly looking for the new, tastiest option for their dog to get them to eat. Yep. Who knew dogs were picky? They are, but often we find that the source of picky eaters is actually a behavioral problem. There are a lot of high-quality, palatable options out there to try with your dog and ways to introduce new foods that do not enable the issue. Today we are going to dive into this situation and are hopefully going to help you figure out what is really going on with your picky pup.
Wow, that was a really great intro, Toni.
Oh, thanks.
I have personally lived this, so I get it. This resonates with me. Having a dog that won't eat is super annoying. You end up wasting a ton of money, time, and energy just trying to get them to eat. I mean, people just, myself included, want to pull your hair out, and you don't understand why your dog won't eat when you're providing them with really good freaking food.
So I'm pretty glad that you have experienced this because I have never.
Oh, it is
never
horrible.
Never.
It's unless, especially if you don't have another dog or cat in the house to eat the food and you're just throwing it away, especially if you're doing like a raw or a fresh food diet when it spoils very easily and it's not just a kibble that you can just throw back in the bin.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's gross too.
It gets that crusty little film on the top. Yeah. And then and it gets that smell to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can't often just like put it in the refrigerator to save it, and then because they want it less after that. Anyways, that's my rant for today. I mean, probably not.
What dog was picky?
Kendrick.
Oh,
So picky.
Still?
I cured it. So my next line was, during this episode, I will talk about how I stopped my dog from being picky. He will now eat broccoli. He will eat. I make greens, so if I run out of raw food, and I can't get to the store for a day or two, I'll make a smoothie for them to get some fresh.
Like that awesome video I sent to you?
Yes, that I haven't used yet, yes. Yes, I will make a smoothie for them, and I will put garlic in it. I'll put Bragg's apple cider vinegar in it, basil, spinach, blueberries, whatever. He'll eat it now.
Do you want to talk about now how you cured
Well,
it?
I was
or you want to
hoping
wait?
that I'll wait.
It's
so
a teaser.
As a teaser.
It's a teaser. She's a tease.
Yes, to keep people listening. But I figured right now, Toni, do you want to recommend food or topper-wise do you want to talk about foods or toppers that you like to recommend to people who are just desperate?
Sure, I did it today. I do it every day.
Yep.
Okay, so my go-tos are, depending on what is currently being fed. So if a customer is feeding a kibble, well, even raw, I ask if you're rotating proteins. So we have been trained through marketing to never change our dogs' foods and cats, and to buy that same bag, whether it's turkey, beef, chicken, whatever. So our foods and a lot of the more natural foods are intended for rotation. So, for example, Nature's Logic has 8 different proteins. And so one week you buy turkey, the next time you buy beef, the next time you buy sardine, the next time you buy pork. And that can help with the pickiness.
Preventing intolerances.
Preventing allergies, preventing intolerances to certain proteins. Yes.
Prevent flaky skin. I mean, I first and foremost, for any new dog owner, new puppy owner, the first 2 things I really like to recommend is hydration and variety.
Agreed. And, when I tell people rotation, well, usually the response is, well, won't that make my dog have diarrhea? Mm-mm. Absolutely not. I mean, can I say it's never happened? I can't say that,
Right.
but I can tell you that these foods are truly formulated for rotation, and it's better for your dog's gut and gut health to rotate proteins. They would never eat the same thing if they were on their own in the wild, and we have truly been trained and manipulated through marketing to never change our dog's food and cat's food because those companies want us to buy the same bag for the duration of our pets' lives. And that's market and security for the company. So that is not the way to do it. So I won't get on a bandwagon. I promise. So some other go-tos are bone broth,
That's hydration. You mean
hydration.
warm water.
Warm water on kibble helps. Goat's milk, kefir.
Yep.
I don't really recommend stock. A bone broth is different than a stock. So, and you do have to be careful with stock because there's a lot of sodium added to it, even if it's low salt. That's still a high amount of sodium. Crumbling freeze-dried food on top of kibble or raw food, that can help. We actually sell sprinkles that are already, you don't have to do the crumbling. And many different things. Pumpkin added can even entice your dog to eat. And then we have many, many, many different can options. And canned food incorporated is not spoiling your dog. It is adding hydration to the bowl, which makes it more bioavailable and part of their everyday diet. It's not spoiling your dog and absolutely not spoiling your cat because your cats absolutely need hydration. Tripe.
Tripe. Oh,
Tripe's
I
always my
love
go-to for
tripe.
that too.
Mm-hmm. It's so good for them as well.
Yep.
That's a functional topper.
Yep. And it is not a fish. A lot of people think it's a fish. It is the tripe is the lining of the stomach from a ruminant animal. We carry it in raw frozen form. We carry it in canned, and we carry it in freeze dried from Nature's Vital Essentials. They love it. It stinks like holy hell, but they love it.
I think this might be an okay time to mention, and I don't think it's crossing the line too much, to err on the side of caution when you're super desperate and you go and you buy the really stinky, bad grocery store quality, Alpo quality, canned gravy, liquidy stuff, because that can make things worse.
It can. I mean, I honestly would go to spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
That's what I got Princess to eat in her last year of life. Not every day. She didn't eat spaghetti, but did I incorporate spaghetti in many of her meals? I absolutely did. My mother raised her well. She loved her spaghetti.
I would say yes. I mean, you can even giving your dog, if you boil chicken at home, that's not spoiling them. That's really a high quality addition to their meal.
Right.
Eggs, cooking eggs for them, raw egg. That's not.
I mean, there's so many different. When we say picky dogs, like a senior dog becomes picky.
Yeah.
Just like old people, they lose their palate, they lose their desire to eat. It is a part of life.
Right.
But we also see small breed dogs that are very, very, very picky. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is behavioral.
So should we dive into that side then?
Sure.
First and foremost, your dog is not going to die. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to say that, and I don't want to make that a full disclosure. Right. Your dog is not going to die if you don't feed it for one day. Because I don't know people out there. But, more often than not, if your dog does not eat a meal, it will be okay.
Fasting is a good thing. They would naturally fast themselves.
Fasting is a good thing.
So when they sniff the bowl and walk away, try not to fret about it.
I guess what we're trying to say is don't let your anxiety or your fear that your dog's not eating, make you scared of them not eating.
Well, and the funny thing is, a lot of time, and you've probably experienced this too. I'll be talking with a customer about their picky dog, and then they say, Well, but yeah, he's really kind of chubby. And I'm like, well, if he's picky, how did he get chubby?
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's kind of why I was trying to say earlier, to try to avoid those bad foods for your dog.
Yeah.
Because it's high in sugar, high in carbs, high in starch, high in sodium. They could get addicted to it, and then they're not going to eat the clean stuff, and then they're going to get fat.
But I just add a little sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. Kraft.
Just boil a little bit of noodles, add a little bit of red sauce, top it off with some Parmesan cheese. It's okay if you make up some garlic bread.
My mom's garlic bread was so good.
Homemade Italian food is different. It's fine. Especially if it's your grandma's recipe.
Right.
Okay, and we digress.
Yeah. So we seriously talk about this a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So behavioral, can I share it of interaction I had with a customer that kind of leads me into my personal story as well. I was working with someone who was asking me for the newest, the best, the most palatable food in the store, and I was giving a couple suggestions, and I had kind of gathered that they've already been offered these suggestions before, like I wasn't the first one. So picking up on that, I asked, are your dogs nervous? Are they fearful? Are they scared? Are they really confident dogs? And at first this customer kind of disregarded my question. And then it later had come out that one dog was scared of its own shadow and was a nervous dog. And I was like, I'm not saying this is happening to you, but, with my experience, I have a dog that is nervous and fearful. And I have really suffered, I've dealt with him being a very picky eater. And I have found that working on his confidence and boosting his security in, just boosting his confidence and exposing him to new social situations and working on training.
Yeah.
I've noticed he's become a better eater.
Huh.
Could maybe incorporating some training help with this?
Yeah.
I mean,
Didn't
they,
go
of
very
course,
far.
they disagreed.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with
They probably thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have truly found, being nervous, and also he has had a lot of surgery, and I've had to slip in some, antibiotics, some pain medication.
Yeah.
It's really deterred him from eating, not to mention any loud sounds, if we slammed the freezer door too loud, pot.
When he's eating. Yeah.
It would scare him, and he'd run away, and it'd scare him from eating, and he wouldn't finish. And then it got to the point, sniffed it, walk away.
Right.
And we were trying every single type of canned food, every type of freeze-dried food. I was trying kibble, Raruva packets, and it was just so hit or miss with what he would eat.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating because Sweet Pea, my other senior dog, can only have lamb, so everything was going to waste. And so I really worked on his confidence.
Yeah.
And I've really worked on, not only his confidence, but I changed his bowl, and I gave him a flatter bowl.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a deep bowl that he had to stick his head into. It was a flat bowl, which really helped.
Yeah.
And it also helped having another dog who he kind of knew would eat his food if he didn't eat it.
Sure.
Or if he saw another dog really excited over a piece of broccoli, hence it would get him a little bit more excited over it. But really what it was is confidence. And it is crazy. I feed him today, and I can feed him a raw chicken heart.
Yeah.
He never would have touched that. He will gnaw at a liver. Never would have done that before. He will eat a broccoli. He will take a zucchini. He gets so excited to eat. And I'm like, oh my God, 2 years ago, this was not the case.
Yeah.
It is night and day.
Yeah.
And the different things I've used food to play the find it game, which we have talked about before in our enrichment episode, using food for training. as well on walks as rewards and using actual food, kibble, things like, Ziwi Peak, freeze-dried food, so that while we were training, he was also getting complete and balanced food throughout the day.
Yeah.
That was really helpful. Some of his favorite things to do were be outside, treats outside all of the time to just assimilate something that he already thought was really positive with food.
Well, confidence is such a factor in so many things.
So many things. I mean, everything.
Yeah, it really is everything. Everything you experience
Socialization with
Yeah.
humans, behavior at home, whining, panting, licking, everything.
Well, it is important to note that Kendrick was a stray in Puerto Rico, thrown out of a car.
Then ran away.
And ran away.
And then broke his jaw twice.
Yeah.
So his fear.
He ran away but came back on his own.
Yeah, he ran away and then came back. Yeah. He ran away and came back. But I mean, I think a lot of those incidents happened because he was such a fearful dog.
Sure, definitely.
And boosting his confidence for me was to have a safer environment for him and to prevent all these vet bills and situations, but also led to picky eating, stopping him from being such a picky eater.
And that was just a byproduct. You had no idea that was coming.
I had no idea. And until I really stepped away and saw it from a bigger picture, because I was like, wow, he's such a good eater now. It is insane.
That's crazy. And he probably taught you something in that little...
Oh, I learned so much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we just hit on a couple of tips right there, too, is using kibble or freeze-dried food, something complete and balanced air-dried food as training treats.
Right.
Can really help.
Right. And then do we want to get into... Let's talk about bowls a little bit, because there's a lot of new options. There's a lot of research that has been done on this. And like Em just said, dogs wouldn't put their face in a bowl. So stainless steel bowls, which is what we highly recommend because we don't recommend plastic, have that reflection to them. So we don't know if that's a factor.
Whiskers? I know that's for cats.
But still, whiskers for dogs are still part of the sensory
experience.
Yeah. A lot of companies are coming out with flatter tray type of things. We have a couple of different ones at the store. Do we know the name of that new one?
I don't off the top of my head.
That one's pretty impressive because she's even done analysis on colors.
Oh, wow.
So if you have a senior dog that has a hard time, that is losing its vision, you pick the yellow one because they can see yellow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. You need to read up on. And she sent, what is it called? I can't think of it. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes, but you should buy it from us. Don't buy it online. or wherever you are, support your local pet food store. But it's pretty fascinating. And are you the one that told me that Rodney Habib just did put something out that they also eating up against the wall is psychologically not good for them?
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Somebody told me that. I was like, Jesus Christ.
You would think that
Here we go.
I know, but you would think that eating up against the wall, you don't have less of a work to worry about in terms of other animals encroaching on your food.
Agreed.
But I mean, that's a human brain thinking that way.
It is. And a dog that wouldn't have walls.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't know.
2 of my animals eat off walls.
Yeah. So I feed, like when I prep the bowls, I literally just put them right on the floor. So my dogs I don't put them on a placemat up against the wall. I just put them on the floor.
So then would you recommend changing location? I guess if your dog is a picky eater, changing the location of where you're feeding them?
Definitely. I've told people that.
And then I guess, would you recommend that as a puppy, if you start early, I mean, not only early with rotation is huge. We talked about that.
Move the bowl.
But feeding them in a crate, would that help, do you think? Because then they assimilate the crate with feeding and then routine and structure.
Yes. And food is a good thing. And if,
Yeah.
you really want your dog to be crate trained, feeding in the crate is recommended typically.
Yeah. What about these? What about the Yorkies, the mini poodles, the mini
The
doodles,
pickiest of them all.
the Chihuahuas, the little dogs that
Maltese.
the Malteses, the Shih Tzus.
I think the Maltese are the worst.
Really? I do love a Maltese though. Never really met one.
Okay, but we love them.
Oh, but we love them. What do we say to those? Because it's hard.
That's all. I'm sorry, but I think that is primarily psychology, and it's
because
primarily
of the people who want them.
It's primarily the human. I think I really think it's the human issue.
I mean, I guess this is now a good point to say that Kendrick is a 13-pound dog.
Yeah,
And he's a little dog, and we overcame it.
But a lot of the small dogs are gotten as lap dogs and cuddly dogs that get to be carried around all the time and coddled and catered to, and that's the philosophy behind it. And they're smart.
Right. I think that's what it is. I think their intelligence is not taken into consideration.
Oh, it's completely underestimated.
It's underestimated. That's what I should have said. It's underestimated because they're so cute and cuddly and small. We forget that how intelligent that they are.
Exactly. And they
and
have
manipulative.
They have their humans manipulated in a hot minute.
Mm-hmm. Because, there's so many people I feel like who feed their dogs those little dogs out of their hand too, and in continue and perpetuate the problem.
I hear it all the time. We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
You're hand feeding. Why are you hand feeding?
Right.
Your dog is going to eat when it's hungry.
Right.
We tell people all the time, put the food down for 15 minutes. If they don't eat, pick it up. They don't eat till the next meal.
Right. And I think by that point, you've tried to see if they're more of a grazer, And
some dogs do graze. Yeah. We don't recommend it, but some dogs do graze and never become overweight, and it works. So we talked about seniors. We talked about the little dogs. And I mean, I've even talked so let's look at it from a health standpoint. So that's another road I usually go down is, do you hear a gurgly stomach? Is your dog throwing up? Is your dog on NexGard? Mm-hmm. Because any oral medication that they're on, and NexGard is a chemical orally fed flea and tick treatment, that if you look at the side effects can be digestive upset. So we truly don't know how that's making our dogs feel. Like, is it giving them acid reflux? Is it giving them heartburn?
Right.
I ask if the dog's having diarrhea for some reason, because I've talked to people with shepherds even that have...
Shepherds are a big one, yeah.
Yeah, and they're common for EPI. So there's that factor as well. And then if they say, oh, well, yeah, or does the dog burp a lot? So there's digestive upset. So when you have that nausea or that heartburn, whatever, you don't feel like eating. Right. So we have to address that with prebiotics, digestive enzymes, Optigest.
And I think also to that point too, being aware of the weather. I mean, I feel like we've recently experienced a lot of people who are frustrated with their dog not eating, but it's been so hot outside.
Yeah.
Or going through a heat cycle.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Like taking a step back and looking at it from a different perspective and the bigger picture to see if you can put any pieces together on why.
Right. Right. And I think the big message is, honestly, don't stress about it. And, I mean, unless we're seeing hip bones and weight loss, there's no need to stress about it. And letting your dog fast for 24 hours is actually healthy for them. I know for our listeners, it's probably easy for us to say all this. Well, especially me, since I've never had a picky eater. But, I mean, it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah. The only other behavioral situation that I can think of that I don't really have much of a comment on because I've never really dealt with it is those really stubborn breeds like huskies and the smart dogs that are really stubborn and really intelligent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would work them. I would probably give
Use
them
them as food as treats.
Yeah.
Trick them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, those breeds, if you have a stubborn, intelligent dog, they should be worked anyways.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I started, it's not a slow feeder, but I started putting Dee's food in a large bone-shaped tray that has all these little divots in it. And I spread it all out, and I do a little bit of milk in one corner and his calming treat in another corner and a couple, sometimes a raw egg and whatever. And he, out of a bowl, like he will feverishly eat. And then I put it in this bone-shaped tray, and he is kind of chill about it. It's hard to describe, but he just kind of casually works his way through it. He's not frantic about it. He just it's weird.
That's interesting thing to think about psychologically. Like why he feels like he needs to rush and finish that bowl so soon, but his approach even before he starts eating is such a calmer.
Yeah. Yeah. And even after.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas normally he's like, okay, time to run down the steps. It's time for my walk. I gotta go.
Yeah.
He's not as jazzed after.
Wow. Interesting. Sweet Pea, every time she eats after dinner, she's crazy. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Mm-hmm. But I use a trough.
Yeah.
So it does slow her down a bit. But still, maybe I should try something slower like that.
You just have to raise it for her, I think. I don't know how. You'd have to put it on something if you feed her raised.
Yeah. That's okay. That's easy, though.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I think overall, if you are listening and you have a puppy, start rotating them now.
Oh, definitely.
Introduce them to new textures, new proteins, everything. Get them used to trying new things. Get them used to different proteins, different everything. And then you will save yourself the hassle long term.
Yep. And
then maybe think of picky eating as a behavioral thing and take a step back, or a health thing.
Right.
Rather than just a strenuous annoyance, an occurrence that happens twice a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you're constantly fighting.
I mean, it's a constant problem. I mean, we literally talk about it multiple times a day at the stores.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is us. A lot of our dogs' issues are our problems. So, and we don't mean that to be critical, but we do have to, like Em just said, take a step back and just be like, okay, let's think about what's happening here. Let me, calm down.
Walk away from it for a minute. Mm-hmm. Not get stressed or anxious about it.
And a lot of times when it's a couple with a dog, the one is saying kind of what we're saying, and the other is really the one stressing about it, and then they battle between each other.
Yeah.
So the one that's stressing about the not eating maybe should take a step back and think like maybe their partner does have a point.
And to that point, I think Dr. Karen Becker and Rodney Habib,
I don't know what it.
They have been doing research and found that dogs that are in less stressful environments or less stressed out live longer.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, so
yeah. So we're here for you.
Yes.
You can reach us at info@tonyunleashed.com or any of our social media, Facebook, Instagram is Tony Unleashed. We appreciate you. We thank you for listening. Please give us a 5-star review.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We will be back next week, and we look forward to doing this again.
And tell all of your friends.
And tell all your friends.
Bye for now.
Bye.